Virginia Supportive Housing's mission is to provide permanent supportive housing to people who are experiencing chronic homelessness. We do this with 3 pillars: real estate development, so we build and create new housing. We manage that housing with property management, and we provide supportive services to people who are living in our apartments. We were founded in 1988 by a small group of volunteers working to end homelessness in Richmond, Virginia. Our first studio apartment building, New Clay House, was opened in Richmond in 1992. This was the first supportive housing for homeless adults in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Today we have 17 buildings and 5 scattered site programs serving over 1,700 individuals each year across 3 regions.
At Virginia Supportive Housing, we operate using the Housing First model, which prioritizes access to housing without restrictions such as sobriety or minimum income requirements. This is an evidence-based, low-barrier approach to homeless services built on the belief that housing isn't something to be earned, but something that every person has a right to. Everyone deserves to feel safe and secure.
Permanent supportive housing combines affordable housing and individualized supportive services that develop independent living skills and build mental and social wellness. This person-centered approach is holistic and proven to work. 96% of our residents and program participants remain in stable, permanent housing.
Developing permanent supportive housing is one of the ways VSH meets the mission of ending homelessness. Our real estate development team creates affordable housing through either new construction or the adaptive reuse of existing buildings into apartments for people experiencing homelessness.
Many of VSH's current properties involved the adaptive reuse of an existing building into units of permanent supportive housing. In a previous life, VSH buildings were nursing homes, motels, even a skating rink, bottling factory, and an historic brewery.
Once construction is completed, which can take up to 15 months, we're ready to turn over the building to our property management team to lease up the units to low-income individuals and individuals experiencing homelessness. VSH will continue to own and manage the property for a minimum of 15 years.
We also maintain an ongoing commitment to evolve our buildings in alignment with current PSH best practices. For example, in 1992, we opened New Clay House, which consisted of 47 single resident occupancy style units with shared bathrooms, kitchens, and community living spaces. Over time, our model evolved to create spaces for both increased independence and community engagement.
In 2019, New Clay House was renovated and expanded to create 80 studio apartments with full private bathrooms and kitchenettes, as well as additional resident amenity spaces, allowing us to serve more individuals while also improving the resident experience.
Virginia Supportive Housing has been a pioneer in building permanent supportive housing in Virginia for over 30 years. Our first building in each of the regions we serve, New Clay House in Richmond, Gosnold Apartments in Norfolk, and The Crossings in Charlottesville, were the first of their kind in each region.
Lease up is when property management's role begins. Our buildings aren't emergency shelters or typical affordable housing communities. Unlike a shelter, our residents sign lease agreements and pay rent. Most receive rental assistance resulting in the resident paying 30% of their income towards rent. And we build on affordable housing access by also providing supportive services to ensure that residents remain stably housed. We operate 2 different types of buildings. One type is our large 60 to 80 unit studio apartment buildings. Units in these buildings are furnished and have their own kitchenette and full baths. The second type are smaller 5 to 10 unit group homes for residents with similar shared needs. We have a range of amenities available on site for our residents. For example, we have phone and computer rooms, because not every resident has access to a phone or the internet on their own. At each of our properties, we have a fitness center, laundry rooms, a mail room, and bike lockers. Additionally, at each property, there are communal spaces, including a community room, a courtyard, and sitting areas. These spaces are a place for our residents to come together for events and activities, from haircuts and food giveaways to bingo nights and birthday parties. Events like these are put on by both our team at the property and by hard-working volunteers. Every person at our properties, from VSH teammates to residents to volunteers, is part of our community. The sense of community is so important in building a positive environment for our residents to live and thrive.
Following the Housing First model, supportive services at VSH build on the foundation of stable housing to address higher level needs. We serve residents and program participants in 3 ways: on-site in our buildings, through mobile case management in our scattered site programs, and in special populations, including individuals with traumatic brain injuries or serious mental illness. This variety is designed to meet people where they are with services tailored to their individual needs. Our supportive services are intended to address needs based on the life cycle of a person. First, we build trust. Our program can be seen as a too good to be true offer, and it can take a while to break habits of homelessness that have been developed over time in order to survive. Second, we work on developing basic living skills or activities of daily living. These skills like budgeting, how to cook on the stove, or use a debit card may have deteriorated over time or never been learned at all.
Third, we focus on the things they need for their apartment, from cleaning supplies and hygiene products to household goods and groceries. And after we meet basic skills and needs, an individual may now feel ready to identify and address any bigger picture issues. This leads us to our 4th step: building mental and social wellness. This model of providing services is especially effective because it is person-centered. Services come to them or are available where they live. Participation is voluntary and customized to the areas identified by the individual, so they are often more invested in their own success. Our approach to supportive services is holistic, which means that issues and challenges are not addressed independently, but integrated with services that account for the whole person.
We had a resident who came to us experiencing homelessness. She had a disability which made her unable to work and afford housing on her own. She didn't know that her disability, if documented, made her eligible for benefits. We were able to document the disability and help her secure stable income through disability benefits.
This is the kind of positive impact that supportive services can have in the lives of those we serve. Supportive services are the key component in maintaining housing in the long term.
Permanent supportive housing is evidence-based. It's a recognized best practice, and most importantly, it works.
Year over year, 96% or more of residents and program participants remain stably housed and do not return to homelessness.
More than 50% of our individuals see an increase in income as compared to program entry through connection to benefits or employment.
The average increase in monthly income per participant compared to move-in income is over $200 a month.
By providing stable housing and the tools to foster long-term stability, recovery, and independence, Virginia Supportive Housing is helping people reclaim their lives on their own terms.